Sophie lived for the clatter of keyboards and the thrill of deadlines. As a journalist in the bustling heart of London, life was a whirlwind of late nights, hurried meals, and the constant pressure of chasing the next big story. Her days were filled with interviews, research, and the relentless pursuit of truth. Yet, beneath the surface of her hectic life, Sophie yearned for something more, something calmer, something real. Then, the news arrived, shattering the rhythm of her city life. Her beloved grandmother Eleanor had passed away, leaving behind a legacy that would change Sophie's world forever. Eleanor had owned a charming countryside inn, nestled amidst rolling hills and whispering willows, a world away from the concrete jungle Sophie called home. The inheritance was unexpected, a whisper from a past Sophie barely remembered. Sophie had only visited the inn a handful of times as a child. She vaguely recalled the scent of freshly baked bread, the warmth of the crackling fireplace, and the gentle smile on her grandmother's face. Those memories were like faded photographs, their colors muted by time. Now, the inn was hers, a tangible link to a past she barely knew. As Sophie boarded the train that would take her away from the city, she couldn't shake off the feeling that she wasn't just traveling to a different place, but to a different version of herself, a version she hadn't met yet. The inn, upon her arrival, seemed frozen in time. Dust motes danced in the sunlight that streamed through the dusty windows. The air was thick with the scent of old wood and forgotten memories. Sophie wandered through the empty rooms, her footsteps echoing in the silence. The weight of her grandmother's absence hung heavy in the air. Her initial plan was simple, straightforward, and perhaps a little cold-hearted. Sell the inn, settle the estate, return to the familiar chaos of her London life. The inn was beautiful, undoubtedly, but it represented a life Sophie couldn't envision for herself. Not yet, at least. One rainy afternoon, while sorting through her grandmother's belongings, Sophie stumbled upon a wooden chest tucked away in the attic. Inside, beneath layers of yellowed lace and silk, lay a stack of letters tied together with a faded ribbon. Curiosity piqued, Sophie sat down on the dusty floor and began to read. The letters were dated decades ago, penned in elegant cursive handwriting. They were addressed to her grandmother Eleanor and signed simply, Daniel. As Sophie delved deeper into the words, she found herself drawn into a love story that had unfolded within the very walls of the inn. Daniel's words painted vivid pictures of a bygone era. He wrote with a tenderness that transcended time, each letter a testament to the enduring power of love. He described his arrival at the inn, seeking solace and inspiration after the war. He wrote of Eleanor's warmth, her laughter, and the way her eyes sparkled like the sunlight dancing on the nearby stream. Through Daniel's letters, Sophie began to see her grandmother in a new light. Eleanor, the woman who always had a pot of tea brewing and a plate of freshly baked cookies waiting, had been young once. She had loved and been loved with an intensity that resonated through the decades. The letters revealed a love story that was both passionate and tender. Daniel wrote of stolen kisses under the willow tree by the river, of shared dreams whispered under a canopy of stars. He poured his heart out on those pages, his words echoing with a depth of emotion that Sophie found both intoxicating and heartbreaking. As Sophie devoured each letter, she felt a strange connection to this man she had never met. His words, filled with longing and devotion, awakened something within her, a longing for a love that could withstand the test of time. The more Sophie read, the more determined she became to uncover the truth about Daniel. Who was this man who had captured her grandmother's heart all those years ago? Why had his letters remained unanswered? And what had become of him? She spent hours poring over the letters, searching for clues, for any mention of Daniel's last name or where he had come from. She delved into local historical records, hoping to find a trace of him, a whisper of his existence. The mystery surrounding Daniel consumed her thoughts, urging her to dig deeper, to piece together the fragments of a love story interrupted. Days turned into weeks, and with each passing day, Sophie found herself more deeply connected to the inn and its history. The initial plan to sell faded into the background. Instead, she found herself drawn to the idea of restoring the inn to its former glory, of breathing life back into its walls. Perhaps it was the echo of Daniel's love story that resonated within her, or perhaps it was the realization that she craved something more than the relentless pace of her city life. Whatever the reason, Sophie knew that she couldn't walk away from the inn. Not yet. not until she knew the truth about Daniel and the love story that had unfolded within its walls.